Thozamile Taki, who was born in 1971 and also known as the Sugarcane Killer, is a South African serial killer who killed 13 women aged 18-25, dumping their bodies in agricultural plantations. On January 19, 2011, Taki was sentenced to 13 life sentences for the murders and an additional 208 years, 16 years for each of his victims of armed robbery. Taki murdered 10 victims in the sugarcane plantations around the town of Umzinto as well as a further 3 victims in the tea plantations near Port St, KwaZulu-Natal. Body parts of some of his victims are alleged to have been provided to a local traditional healer, or sangoma. Taki was remanded at Westville Prison during his trial. On February 21, 2010, Taki, along with 8 other prisoners, attempted to escape from the prison. Taki fell from the roof of his 4th-floor cell, seriously injuring himself while his accomplices successfully escaped. His trial was adjourned pending his recovery. On March 2, 2010, Taki, now using a wheelchair, entered court requesting that his girlfriend be given bail. Judge King Ndlovu postponed the trial until April 30, 2010, when the remaining 8 of the United States' 103 witnesses were to testify. On December 23, 2010, Taki was convicted on all charges. Sugarcane serial killer Thozamile Taki had been a jackal in a sheepskin in the way he lured and killed 13 women, a Durban High Court judge said on Wednesday. I watched the accused during the trial. He was callous and insensitive. He smiled when witnesses gave evidence and were in tears, said Judge King Ndlovu. He said Taki was a real jackal in sheepskin to his victims. Ndlovu sentenced Taki to 13 life sentences, 1 for each of the women he killed, plus a further 208 years made up of 16 years for the armed robbery of each woman. The judge commended the investigating team's excellent work and praised the cell phone experts who gave evidence. The sentence was welcomed with jubilation in the public gallery. Family members of the victims cried, sang, and danced. Prosecutor Noxolo Tokwana was praised for her work. Taki was found guilty on December 23rd, but his co-accused and former girlfriend, Hlengiwe Nene, was acquitted on all charges. Taki killed 13 women and dumped their bodies in sugarcane plantations at Umzinto, KwaZulu-Natal, and tea plantations at Port St. John's in the Eastern Cape. If the accused was not apprehended in 2007, he was going to continue with his killing spree, the judge said on Wednesday. He is a danger to society. He cannot be rehabilitated. His permanent incarceration will prevent him from committing crimes. Ndlovu said the sentencing would bring some consolation to family and friends who would never see their loved ones again. He told Taki that he managed to persuade women shrewdly. He lured 11 women to Umzinto and Port St. John's and killed them by strangulation. He said, according to testimony, all the bodies were in a bad state of decomposition, and it was difficult to determine the cause of death. Taki was on Wednesday refused leave to appeal. SAPA Judge King Ndlovu found Thozamile Taki guilty on all 26 charges relating to the killing of 13 women. Their bodies were found in the sugarcane plantations in Umzinto and Port St. John's in 2007. During his trial, Taki was one of 8 prisoners who tried to escape from Westville Prison in March. He fell through a 4th-floor ceiling during the escape bid and had to be hospitalized. The person who lured the women and promised them jobs but killed them and dumped their bodies in sugarcane fields was none other than Thozamile Taki. The state has proven its case beyond a reasonable doubt on all 26 counts, said Ndlovu. Taki's co-accused Hlengiwe Nene was found not guilty and asked to step down from the dock. The judge said Nene was a victim of circumstance. Accused number 2, Nene found herself in this trouble for not cooperating with police. She would not be in this mess if she had done so, said Ndlovu. During the investigation, police searched Nene's home in September 2007. A cell phone was found. Accused number 2 claimed it was hers, but it was of Charity Kumalo, deceased. She said she bought it at jet stores and could not find the purchase papers as proof, said Ndlovu. The judge said all witnesses were credible, unbiased, reliable, and honest. Accused number 1's evidence was unsubstantial. His story was highly improbable. Ndlovu said that in both identity parades conducted in Hibberdine and Brighton Beach, all witnesses pointed out Taki without hesitation. That could not be a coincidence. He said the issue of cell phone evidence demonstrated that Taki used the cell phones of the deceased. Ndlovu said the way the evidence was presented showed that the killings were the work of a serial killer. All the deceased were young and had ambitions to get jobs or were already working and wanted better jobs. When they left their homes, they told their families they had met a man who would get them jobs in factories or companies. He said the pattern was similar, with their bodies being dumped in sugarcane fields and their personal items taken from them. This modus operandi proved that it was the same person operating like a serial killer. "We are satisfied with the evidence," said Ndlovu. Isi Xhosa was the trend. Ndlovu said it seemed a trend that Taki lured Isi Xhosa-speaking women, even though some of the women were Isi Zulu-speaking. Thobile Jama, related to Kanyisile Nkayana, who was last seen alive in May 2008, said, "She wanted Nene to be found guilty as well. We are happy about the judgment. We could not sleep at night not knowing what happened to her," said Jama. Bongi Mgobozi, whose sister Taki murdered Makosi and was last seen alive in May 2007, said she was relieved that her family now knew what had happened to Makosi and who killed her. "It is sad that a woman was involved in the killing of my sister. I felt bad seeing Hlengiwe's accused number 2 children crying. My sister Makosi also left a child that is 9 years old now," said Mgobozi. "I want to see Thozamile die in jail. I don't want to see him out. He is not good for the community. I don't have any grudge against Hlengiwe. She did not spill any blood," said Mgobozi. Meanwhile, Taki threatened to hit a photographer taking pictures of him during proceedings in the Durban High Court. "I will hit this boy if he continues taking pictures of me. He is disturbing me." In Ramsgate, he was doing the same thing, said Taki. Judge King Ndlovu, who was busy delivering judgment at the time, told Taki not to look at the photographer. Taki is accused of robbing and killing 13 women and dumping their bodies in sugarcane plantations at Umzinto, KwaZulu-Natal, and tea plantations at Port St. Johns in the Eastern Cape. Taki and his co-accused former girlfriend Hlengiwe Nene have been in custody since 2007. The court has been told that Taki approached the women and promised them jobs at various companies. He would allegedly ask them for money to pay their rent at their new jobs or request that they bring cash as a bribe to secure employment. The amount he asked for ranged from R$300 to R$3,000. Nene was alleged to be his abettor in the crimes. During the trial, there were 2 trials, within a trial, conducted after the defense challenged evidence, including a list allegedly compiled by Taki of all the women he had killed. The second trial within a trial was when the defense denied that Taki had taken investigating officers to the scene of the crimes. Ndlovu said in his judgment that Taki had testified that investigators had supplied a list of women and asked Taki to rewrite the list on another piece of paper in his handwriting. Accused number 1 told the court that Inspector Nkabinde was reading his name. That was unnecessary if the names were before him, Ndlovu said on Thursday. The misspelling was so glaring in certain names, but he claims the list was in front of him, said the judge. Hess stated that Taki's testimony in the trial within a trial demonstrated that he was lying. Ndlovu said that, for the second trial within a trial, he was satisfied with the evidence of a police officer who took Taki to the crime. "I need to point out, there were lots of officers with accused number 1. I was satisfied with their evidence and their stories corroborated each other. They all denied assaulting accused number 1. None of them were shaken while giving evidence." Ndlovu said, Taki's evidence had been evasive and untrue, and Taki had also contradicted himself.